Today we're talking about all of the Ruby cards and Ursula's return. Why would we do that? Why wouldn't we talk about the new cards that are out? We want to talk about these cards because if we don't know where we've been, we don't know where we're going. Starting off with the Beast, the 3 cost, the 2/6. This one looks like it would have some good synergies, especially with the Bell from this set, but it didn't get much traction. I like that this Beast has 5 fingers. There's not a lot of Disney Lorcana cards that have 5 fingers, but this one sure does. The Hero Prince synergy, definitely worth it. The 2/6 stat line, pretty good, especially if you can heal it up. There's lots of new Amber cards in Arcasia's Island that are dealing a lot of healing stuff. So this one might see a little bit of play because being a 2/6 as early as turn 3, questing for 2, that's a huge character. This could be a little bit better now with all of the healing stuff that we got going on in Amber. We got this vanilla Benja card right here. The 4, the 5/3. You can make this a lot better with the Vitalosphere to give it rush. This might see a little bit of play in the Mushu Challenger deck to be able to get some lore when you banish a character. But other than that, Benja was just kind of here as a filler card. And who's he even talking to? Because this wasn't in the anime at all. These people being like angry at Benja, I don't know what that's about. He says we must work together to heal the entangled. I don't think these people are disagreeing with him. Benja has the king keyword, which can be valuable, but not right now. We got Fajo, which doesn't have the king keyword, but he sure does have the mentor keyword. And this crazy sword is what we see in this Li Shang card right there. I think that's the same sword, so he's definitely giving it to Li Shang there. Fajo says war injury. This character can't challenge. He's all done with his challenging times. He's here to quest or to use his ability. It says exert ready chosen character named Mulan. She can't quest for the rest of this turn, but she sure can challenge. There is a new Mulan that came out with Arcasia's Island. This might have a little bit of synergy with it, but I don't know. It's a lot of setup for not a lot of stuff. I am ready to serve the Emperor. There's better stuff to do on turn 2 in Ruby, like Lumiere, that gives everybody Challenger +1, not Challenger +1, but 1+ strength. This one that I'm talking about right here that we're going to talk about in a little bit. Like, I'd much rather play this on turn 2 than a Fajo, even if I'm playing him in a Milan deck, if you know what I'm saying. The Flynn Rider, I hardly know our frenemy. This one is a little stinker of a card. If you haven't played against it, good for you. But if you have played against it, you know everything that it does. It says at the start of your turn, if you have a character in play with more strength than each opposing character, gain 3 lore. So even if you have a character with no strength, I don't know, like, you gotta beat the 2 strength to be able to get the lore, and lots of times they'll put out a stronger character than you, and you won't get the lore. I haven't had this work too good for me, but when it works, it sure does work super good. You guys look busy. I'll just keep an eye out on this lore for you. Look at him. He's freneming him pretty good. And then these two, these characters, these shadow figures, we just got their cards in Arcasia's Island. They were just revealed the other day, so that's pretty cool. Moving on to the Goofy Super Goof. The amount of times that I call this Super Goof, but its name is actually Goofy, and then the sub name is Super Goof, is out of this world. It's got Rush, so you can challenge it with the turn that you play it down, but it's also got the whenever this character challenges another character, gain 2 lore. The Super Peanut Power, underrated for sure. This wins games. People don't imagine that the 2 extra lore is coming out that turn, but it sure does. I noticed this the other day. It's like a little number 5 right here. I think this one's pretty disjointed, but maybe not. Maybe they did that on purpose. I would love to see the extended stuff if they had this as like a playmat or something. Who knows what else they have this artwork in. Like, what if we got to see what's all the way down here? This looks pretty cool, his cape and stuff. That's the Super Goof. He's actually really, really, really good. This Hercules was an interesting one because it didn't do too much. What's he catching there? A big old loaf of bread? Maybe we'll never know. Nice catch, Hercules, says the village boy. He's got Rush and he's got 3/3. He's got the Hero Prince keyword. Those are pretty good keywords, but this one isn't the best. This one was the We Have Maui at Home. It was to take out Queen's Castles. Like, this one saw some play when the Queen's Castles was like all the rage in the red purple decks. But right now it's not all the rage, the Queen's Castle. So this one has stopped seeing too much play. The 7 strength was absolutely perfect. The 3 willpower also super good. This is a good We Have Maui at Home. You play it down at the same turn, but it's not inkable. So that's the trade-off that you got going on there. If you don't have Maui here at all, I highly recommend the Hercules Daring Demigod. We got Khan. He is a horsey, beloved steed, the 3/2, play it down on 2. It's a vanilla card, nothing too substantial going on there with Khan. And we got the Li Shang, the general's son, Storyborn hero, the 2/2, the 1/2/2 archetype, some of the best archetypes that we've ever got, especially because you can shift into this one. This one has the shift. You have to discard a character card. So that costs you a whole lot being able to discard a card, but you don't have to pay the ink to shift it. So that might be all right. Otherwise, you could just play it down on turn 3. It says your characters with 4 strength and more get +1 lore. So any of your bigger characters, they're going to be able to quest for a whole lot of stuff. But usually your bigger characters with a lot of strength, you're going to want to challenge them. But that could give this card Benja. It has more than 4 strength. That could make it a 2 quester. But a 4 cost character that only quests for 2, I don't know. Maybe that is worth it. This little 2-card combo, I haven't seen that before. Never seen it work out. This Lemire, I've seen it work out a lot to help this Flynn Rider out. The one deck that I saw it do really good in was in the Christmas colors, the green-red deck, because it gave the evasive Pegasus the more strength. And then the idea with this is you just never quest it. You wait for it to be removed with a spell, like a steel spell or something, a steel action card. Otherwise, it can just stay on the board and buff all your characters, and all your other characters can swing for huge numbers. We might see that this one hits the meta a little bit more. You can see that the foil is a little bit more expensive than other foils. That's because it's going to help out the Mushu Challenger deck. We got this Mulan. This Mulan, I think, was specifically tailored to beat the Illuminator's Quest Deep Trouble, the Ursula single player game, because of its ability. You don't really get to use this ability too much when you're playing the other games, but this did see some good play in the Red Fossa decks lately, especially in the Shimmering Skies meta. Not so much for the Azurite Sea meta, but for Shimmering Skies meta, definitely this wrecked up the shop pretty good. You can shift it for 5, and that's okay, and you're going to mostly have to shift this card. You want to shift it to be able to get this benefit, the straight shooter. When you play this character, if you shift to play her, she gets +3 strength this turn, so she goes to a 5/6 character, and that's great because the more strength that she has, the more damage that you're going to do to more characters. This is triple shot. During your turn, whenever this character deals damage to a character in a challenge, deal the same amount of damage to up to 2 other chosen characters. You can choose your own characters if you're crazy, or you can choose your opponent and clear their boards. And it says up to, so if they only have like 1 extra character on board that you want to clear out, you can just choose that one. It's a good card all around. We love to see it. Really good in the Mufasa deck, but other than that, we haven't seen it too much elsewhere. She has the princess keyword that could work in a lot of decks, but you'll see that it kind of stays to this yellow-red archetype that it's got going on. But now it could go into the red steel deck with the new Mushu card because you want to challenge stuff and you want to banish people in challenges. This Mulan right here, whenever you play an action, this character gets +2 strength this turn, and this would be sticky to this card. So if you play an action, it would get +2 strength this turn, and then if you shift it into this Mulan, the sticky stays. So it would get the +2 strength, go over here, it'd be a 5 strength, and if you shifted it, it's going to get another +3. So that would be a whole lot of lore. It'd be +2, 4, it'd be a 7/6 if you shifted it and you played an action before you shifted. So that is a definitely cool wombo combo. This Mulan enters with 2 damage on it, and that's okay because you can heal it up with the Rapunzel. That's why we saw this shift line so much in those yellow-red decks, because boom, you put this down, you heal it up with Rapunzel, draw 2 cards, get a 2/3 character on board, and then you can shift it pretty soon after you're playing your Rapunzel. If you're playing your Rapunzel on turn 4, then you play this on turn 5, stuff like that. Or you make it even less expensive with cards like Gaston. We got this Namari card, the Heir of Fang. I've never seen anybody play this card. It says during your turn, whenever this character deals damage to another character in a challenge, you may deal the same amount of damage to another chosen character. So that seems like it'd be a good deal, but it's just a little bit expensive for what it does because it has to dry and then do this stuff. But if you play Namari and play it with Vitalisphere, this could clear some boards. This could be a good thing, and it can get around evasive. So if you attack into stuff and then it deals any damage to another character, you can deal the same amount to get around that evasive keywords. You don't have to give Nomari evasive because you can choose someone else and deal the damage here. Nessus, the River Guardian. Check this guy out. 6 costs, a 7/5 in quest for 2. An absolutely huge body, and you can get him out kind of early. Why don't more people play Nessus? Maybe we'll never know. This one came from the Hercules movie, if you didn't know. He sent the eels away when the king with the sea witch's offer. He didn't need her help making trouble. So this is in reference to the story of Ursula trying to get Flotsam and Jetsam to entangle some baddies. This Noi was pretty cool. It says the acrobatic baby. It costs a lot, costs 4. It's a 4/4 stat line, fancy footwork. Whenever you play an action, this character takes no damages from challenges this turn. So boom, challenge into somebody, take no damage. And all you have to do is play an action, which isn't that uncommon. Like, you're going to be able to play some actions. This one is kind of just a different art style than anything else that we've seen in Lorcana. This kind of like a chibi style. This Pegasus, I think, is better than the Stitch. The Stitch is the same stat line but has rush. This one has evasive, so it can chill out, do its thing. You can also sing the 2-cost songs. There's lots of great 2-cost songs like Sudden Chill and the Hercules one, Go the Distance. This one also I saw paired with the Lumiere, so it puts it to a 4/1. And then if you have your Flynn Rider out in turn, you're getting 3 lore and you're doing big things. This is the Rhea. Rhea says the Fierce Protector, the 3/3 stat line. Whenever this character challenges another character, gain 1 lore for each other damaged character that you have in play. So lots of setup to do a thing to get some lore. So it's not too worth it. It might have some combinations discovered. Is this a hidden Mickey? No, it's not. You're gonna fight an entire army, says Sisu. And she says, you betcha, don't cross me. This Raya is the guardian of the dragon gem. And you'll notice that she's got her cool little Benja sword and she's chilling out with Namari and they're being entangled by Ursula's little ink globs, if you know what I'm saying. The guardian of the dragon gem. We've got the hero princess keyword 4 for 3/3. That's all right. And its ability, when you play this character, ready chosen character of yours at a location. They can't quest for the rest of this turn. So they have to be at a location. So that's a whole lot of setup to get the value out of this card, but maybe it's worth it. It's not. Spoiler alert. This Sisu, I call the 3-drop Sisu, also known as the human Sisu. Human Sisu, never really called the Sisu Daring Visitor. Human Sisu is this one, the 3-drop human Sisu, evasive. Great news. And then its ability is so good when you pair it with the ice block. It says when you play this character, banish chosen opposing character with 1 strength or less. What characters have 1 strength or less? A lot of them when you use the ice block on them. Definitely a good card. Always kind of spicy in the red-blue decks. You'll see that it's almost exclusively in red-blue decks. This one is anti-aggro lore drain. Kind of love to see that one. Would like to click into there. This Sisu is not the human Sisu. This Sisu is called the hand Sisu because it's dependent on your opponent's hand. It says this character gets +1 strength for each card in opponent's hand. So if your opponent has 3 cards in their hand, this is a 4/4 character, and that's pretty common on turn 3. You'll see that this gets to be huge, and this is really commonly used again to proc the Flynn Rider. You want a strong character on board, you put down Flynn, you put down this on 3, and then Flynn should get you the lore on turn 5. This Sisu you can shift into, and that's a great deal because this can clear boards. It says when you play this character, banish all opposing characters with 2 strength or less. This just ruins Emerald Steel's day, and it does such a great job out of it. You'll notice that the price has soared lately because of its success that it's found. It's had some great success in the latest big tournaments, so that's why this is still a pretty good and expensive card. The Tong Reckless 3/6. I played this a lot in the sealed tournaments for Ursula's return. Didn't do too much, I'll be honest. I like his little arm shield here. I too wish to join the fellowship of Droon Butt Kickery. Very interesting. This Tuk Tuk is a interesting one because it's got evasive, so that's all right, but its ability is so cool. It says when you play this character on play effects, enter the battlefield effects. What's that called? ETB effects are so good, dude. When you play this character, you may move him and one of your other characters to the same location for free. The other character gets +2 strength this turn. So moving characters to locations for free is a great deal. This has found a little bit of success. It's kind of wombo combo-y, but it can help with the Sugar Rush Speedway. That's why it's in this deck. And it does some other cool things to get to locations. It can get to Jolly Roger for free if they're not a pirate. It's a good card. I like it. It's a little bit expensive for what you're doing at that turn, but it's there. It's a good card. It's some tech and some spice for you. The Pirate's Life, this card recently has popped off. It wins games. Like it won the DLC Melbourne and it did so good. It got second place at the North American Championships. It just does too good. A Pirate's Life, you get to sing it together for 6. So you can lots of times nobody will use the sing together ability for it, but you can do the sing together. If you have multiple cards in play, they can add up to a cost of 6. You can sing this with them. And then it says each opponent loses 2 lore, you gain 2 lore. So it ruins math, makes your opponent have to work harder, and it gives you a benefit. If you play this with Maui Shark on board, you get to gain 3 lore. If you play this with 2 Maui Sharks on board, you get to gain 4 lore, and your opponent loses 2 lore. It's so good with some Maui Sharks on board. Pirate's Life is underrated. This foil price has soared, dude. I don't think I have a copy of this in foil. Otherwise, I would be jumping for joy. Be King Undisputed saw a little bit of early success, but it has since been taken out of a lot of decks. It looks like the most popular version of it is in this yellow-red deck. We gotta check this one out. This one's crazy. Why does this have 25,000 views on this? This is just a bunch of crazy cards. Why does this deck have 25,000 views? What's going on here, Clark? Last edited 232 days ago. What's going on with this deck? Why does it have so many views? I don't know what's going on with that. Be King Undisputed, don't play it. Its time has gone. Unless you want to ruin opponents' days. Brawl, super good card. Play this instead of Be King Undisputed. You can banish chosen character with 2 strength or less. Save it for your opponent's Hirams. Get rid of their Hirams. Save it for their Flynn Riders. Get rid of their Flynn. Save it for their Goofies. Get rid of their Goofies. Anything with 2 strength, Brawl is going to be able to take out the Imperial Proclamations. When one of your characters challenges another character, you pay 1 ink less for the next character that you play this turn. A little bit of setup, but ultimately worth it. Like, this could see a little bit of play. You can make your Mulans cost even less, and all you have to do is challenge. So if you're doing the new Mushu Challenger deck, why not put this in there if you're already challenging stuff? The Medallion Weights, this one I think is even better. This one, you put it down for 2, but then you have to exert it and then pay another 2 ink. Chosen character gets +2 strength this turn. Whenever they challenge another character this turn, you may draw a card. You got to make sure to activate this before you challenge. Otherwise, you can't go backsies. No takesy backsies in the game of Lorcana unless you're playing a cool opponent. The Plank, walk it for 3 ink, then you have to pay another 2 ink. So 5 ink total. You banish this item and then you choose one. You banish chosen hero character, or you already chosen villain character. They can't quest for the rest of this turn. Is that worth it for 5 ink? Probably not. But banishing a chosen hero character might be worth it eventually, especially if you get a benefit from banishing a character. The Vitalosphere we mentioned like 6 times in this video already. The Extract of Ruby. So you pay 1 ink and then you have to pay another ink to banish this item. Chosen character gains rush and +2 strength this turn. That's absolutely huge. This thing ruins math for sure. Like, I am scared of Vitalosphere. When it hits the board, you never know when it's coming. It's a good deal. The Snuggly Duckling, whenever a character with 3 or more strength challenges another character while here, gain 1 lore. If the challenging character has 6 or more strength, gain 3 lore instead. It's a lot of setup, but the 9 willpower means that it can just stay there forever. The Snuggly Duckling has some spice. It has an enchanted card. Who forgot about this card? I know I sure did. We could see this pop off with the new Mushu Challenger deck. I keep saying that about every card that has Challenger, and red is a whole lot of challenging. And then our last card that we got to talk about is the Training Grounds. You pay it down for 1 ink, you move there for 1 ink, and then for 1 ink that you have to pay during your turn, chosen character gets +1 strength this turn. Kind of good, also kind of bad, because you got to pay 3 ink for 1 strength, or you pay 2 ink and then all of your characters get +1 strength. I'd much rather have a Lumiere on the board than a Training Grounds with only 5 willpower. That's a little bit of willpower for not too good of a card. We got 3 enchanteds. We got the Goofy, the Sisu, and the Snuggly Duckling. And then we got this super cool Mulan card that has these extra little ink tentacles because it came in the Lumineer's quest. Those are all the Ruby cards in Ursula's Return. Thanks for watching. We put out new videos all the time.